bad villains to face.
But you are the most horrible of all. So stand up with us.
Stand up to win.
Stand up to cancer.
Visit standuptocancer.org to learn more.
Everyone has a monster inside of them. Some suppress it, but Zion Williamson chooses to embrace it.
Here we go.
That beast inside is what makes Zion dominate on the court.
Zion hammers it home with the right hand. Zion detonating on the rim. Zion from the inside. That'll get him up on their feet.
Stopping at nothing to bring out the power and brute force against his opponents.
Man, he put his shoulder down, and the sea just parted. How about that finish? Big man. Explosive two-handed jam. Man, oh man, what a forward by Big C. Pushes the rim, and the entire stanchion is still moving.
When the jersey goes on, it's time to release the beast within.
Pelicans West Coast swing soars into Utah for a 2-game series, seeking their first win streak since going back-to-back to open the calendar year, but against the top 3 team in the West, having won the last 5. Although, as Zion said and showed Sunday, we just wanted it more. Let's see who wants it more tonight as Pelicans and Jazz meet at the top of the hour here on Fox Sports New Orleans. We're going to count you down to it on Pelicans Live, presented by FanDuel. Aaron Hardigan welcoming you in, fresh off what was our first winning post-game show in 15 days on Sunday. And to answer your question, no, David Wesley and I did not forget how to do one. In fact, we just hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. If anything, David, we got to celebrate a number of highlights, including what you called your new #1 play of the season.
I think it's the #1 for everyone because it's a genuine emotion. And we love genuine on this team, but this is exactly how I reacted. And look at that. Yeah. Let me share it with everybody.
Play of the year, man.
And it was also play of the year.
Play of the year. Shouts
Love
Antonio Daniels and producer Cam Galloway for bringing us that one. AD, I have told you a number of times, my friend, you are a national treasure for a number of reasons, but that was most certainly one. AD does he have selective hearing again, David, or is he? Okay, there he is. There he is.
Well played.
Play of the year,
well
Antonio
played,
Daniels.
Well played, Wesley. Well played, Hardigan.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well played, guys.
Okay, can
I tell you what's... Go ahead.
Okay, how much has your phone been blowing up? That was everywhere.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't much. A couple people told me about it, but...
you don't have friends?
You know what was wild about that play? I don't. I don't. You're my only friend. That's why I said well played, because I can't say anything, because then I won't have any friends. Side the point. You know what was amazing about that play? And I'm going to be honest. When he first jabbed right and went left, I thought he was too far away from the rim to actually dunk the basketball. That's what was amazing to me. It wasn't the fact that it wasn't the move. It was the fact that he finished it as emphatic as he did. That was real Sean Kempish. And anyone that's seen Sean Kemp play, he used to turn, face, jab, step one way, take one hard dribble, and be right at the rim and explode over someone that's there. But remember, Sean Kemp was 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". Zion is 6'5", 6'6".
Listen, and that was in a 30-point night in which he shot 85%, you guys. That's the highest shooting percentage in a 30-pointer by any Pelican all time, David Wesley. We're witnessing history with this young man.
He'll do it again. Nothing about his offensive game and his athleticism really surprised me. It was surprising, like AD said, that he dunked that because he took off from so far, but nothing's going to surprise you about this young man. He's very gifted, and he has a lot of tools that just you can't match up with. I mean, if you're bigger, he's quicker. If you're quicker, he's bigger. And so it's hard to find a matchup, and I would say keep milking this cow as long as you can, because no one can play him. These are easy buckets for him, and he's going to continue to get them because he's that tough to guard.
I tell you one of the most underrated aspects of Zion's game And we can look at this. We can look at the points and the efficiency and the rebounds, the offensive rebounds. He's a really, really good passer. And when teams come double team him, he has done a really good job thus far this year at reading that double team and getting rid of the basketball and trusting his teammates to make plays. Think about it. We are talking about a young man that is, 36 games into his NBA career? He hasn't even played half of one NBA season yet.
That's insane.
And yet teams are running to double him at all costs. That's how good he is. And the next step of his game, as far as offensive evolution is concerned, is his ability to get rid of that ball, make the right reads, and trust his teammates. And he's done a great job this year of doing just that.
A lot like Lonzo Ball does, who will be back in the starting lineup tonight. Yes, New Orleans at full strength and back to its original starting five. In fact, guys, as we take a look at our Smoothie King numbers here tonight, AD, I'll begin with you. When you look at this team with and without Lonzo Ball, what does his return do tonight?
Well, for me, he gives his team a different gear, and that gear is the gear without the basketball. I don't know if there's a guard in the league that advances the ball better than Lonzo does. This is another part of his game, and David and I were talking prior to it. This is what you want to see Lonzo do more. These two things right here. One is shoot the three-point shot with your feet set, and second, put your head down and attack the rim. You know you're always going to get this out of him as far as defense is concerned. But those two areas, knocking down three-point shots with your feet set as opposed to off the dribble, and lowering your head and getting to the rim and making something happen inside that three-point line.
And I think the coach would be okay with some of his turnovers if that's how he was getting them. Taking care of the basketball is where his game has to get so much better, as well as, like AD said, getting to the basket, driving, playing in the mid-range. I like his game in there, as well as his catch and shoot from three, as long as he's feet set and knocking the ball, taking those shots. It's when he gets a little bit the step backs and the guarded threes, that's where he runs into trouble. And I think he would be shooting close to 40% if he just 40%. Stuck with those shots. And then getting him back tonight, they'll get their push game. He's going to get rid of it. He's going to get it back, and they're going to play their normal style of basketball tonight.
And it also gives you another guy to throw at Donovan Mitchell. It gives you another long, athletic guard to throw at Donovan Mitchell. And David just brought up a great point. He talked about Lonzo Ball's ability just as a whole, or turning the basketball over from time to time. And the thing is, you can attest to this, David. When you have the passing ability of Lonzo Ball, you're going to take chances. Because you trust your skill set. I think Lonzo trusts his ability to pass the ball sometimes more than his ability to score the ball sometimes. So if you are you think of a quarterback, you think of somebody like Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees or some of the greatest quarterbacks in history, they are going to take chances. And sometimes when you take chances, you're going to turn that basketball over because you feel like you can get that ball in where other guys can't. So turnovers is something that's going to come with Lonzo Ball. But you're right. He has to learn to read the situation, time, score, situation, what's needed, and when it's needed.
He, like a good quarterback, knows his targets and trusts them all too well. And listen, David, we know defense looked much better Sunday. It's going to need to be even more sound here tonight. But walk us through how it was able to kind of come together, so to speak, in our Woodward win by design.
And Lonzo will help with this too because of his ability to play defense. But when you're guarding somebody as fast as Fox is, and he's getting ready to come downhill, giving him this much space is hard to do. Now, Zion's not up. Nikhil could have stepped over and switched that. That's guard to guard, lack of communication, and it takes a team to stop this guy. You're not going to guard him one-on-one. Now, Bledsoe is up, not giving him that room to run, but still on the back end, you got Adams stepping up. Somebody should have went out and got his guy. They get to miss a rebound. But look at the defensive pressure now. I'm into it. I'm making him think. Everybody's guarded. Everybody's with their man. This is a nice job of playing out of a hot guy like Fox that's going bananas. You took the challenge, you got the stop, and that's the kind of defense they're going to have to play tonight. They can't give those guys so much room coming downhill, and especially for Donovan Mitchell, you can't give him that much space to kind of run at you and get to the basket.
AD, can I ask you, Quinn Snyder's emphasis on the three ball this year and on the hurry-up offense more so in past years, is that directed toward just kind of the personnel he has this year, or is he trying to mold to the West, so to speak?
Well, the thing is, he's a product of the Greg Popovich tree. And one of the reasons I've always felt like Greg Popovich was the greatest coach in NBA history, obviously it's debatable. You can look at somebody like Red Auerbach. You can look at someone like Phil Jackson. But what I've always respected about Pop was his ability to cater his offense to his personnel. A lot of coaches can't do that. They know how to coach one way. But Pop has changed with the times. So in '99, we wanted playing inside out. Then when Tim started to get a little bit older, then you start playing through Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. Then you start playing through Kawhi Leonard. You know, so he won those championships different ways. And now we sit in 2021, and it's a pace and space league. So now he has catered his offense to the skill set of his players. And you see this Utah Jazz team, they are constructed the same way. They play 4 out and 1 in defensively, and they play 4 out and 1 in offensively. That one being either Rudy Gobert and 4 guards or Derek Favors and 4 guards. So Quinn Snyder, coming from Greg Popovich, has done a really good job of catering his offense now, changing his offense to the skill set of the players that's on his roster.
Well, Quinn Snyder also boasts a guy that can get you 50 on any given night. In fact, when we return here on Pelicans Live, presented by FanDuel, if you had to go to one player in the league to get you that 50 burger, who you rocking with? The answer's next. Pelicans Live on Fox Sports New Orleans is brought to you by Smoothie King. Rule the day. Chevron, the human energy.
Rock of ages, electric salvation, anthem of revival to unify all the nations. Baptized in fire to rock to biggest stages. Crowd of 20,000 like, look, mama, we made it.
Here's a fun fact for you. Prior to the bubble, the only players in NBA history to drop a pair of 50-pointers in a single playoff series, Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson. They, of course, did so in separate series, but who'd have thought nearly 2 decades later we'd see 2 more players join that party in the same series? Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray giving us a 7-game opening round for the books. And while Murray's Nuggets would advance, Donovan has really used that elimination as fuel this season, looking to get his Jazz back for another shot this year. In fact, as I bring AD and David back in, AD, I'm curious to know how Donovan's performance in the bubble perhaps changed your view of him and his future in this league.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, anyone who has seen Donovan Mitchell perform, you know already, the bubble wasn't something that changed your thought process about him. It was just, it gave you more incentive to feel the way that you felt. I feel like if there's a guy in the league that reminds me offensively of Dwayne Wade, this is that guy. You know, he's very fast, he's very athletic, he's very crafty, and what he's added to his game is a three-point shot. This year, with the Utah Jazz, he's almost attempting 9 three-point shots per game. So as a player, you want to continue to add to your offensive arsenal, and he's doing that.
David, what did it say about his future, though? Yeah.
Well, you could see what kind of future he had. It was just a matter of, are you ready to take those types of shots? Are you ready to put a team on your back? Are you going to be aggressive every night so that people look to you as that guy? That's the only difference. But his future is whatever he wants it to be because he has that kind of game. I like the comparison of D-Wade because a lot of his game is herky-jerky, hard turns, getting to the basket, playing downhill. I remember playing against Wade, and the hardest thing was his stop on a dime, change direction, and then explode again. And they both had that. And then, of course, your big might meet him at the rim. He's going to dunk on you, and both of them will.
It was just fun to see. So I think Donovan and Jamal in that series each had a pair of 50 burgers. That was a series we will never soon forget. It actually brought up the question, though, of, you know, and I'll begin with you, David. If you had to pick one player in the league currently to get you 50 on any given night, who are you rocking with?
Well, it's hard for me to pick one. My picks would be Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. You know, these guys are assassins. They can get it in all different ways. You know, they're going to shoot the three. They can knock. They both play in the mid-range game. They will both go all the way to the basket, and they're both excellent free throw shooters. So you can't put them on the line. You can't give them any space. Quick release guys. So I know they can get 50. That's who I would pick.
Antonio
Okay,
Daniels,
there is no
dare
wrong
I ask
answer
you?
here.
I was going to say.
There is a wrong answer.
There is no wrong answer. There's
a wrong answer.
There's a wrong answer. And David just gave the wrong answer. Because you said if there's one player, if there's one player that can get you 50, and David went out there and said like 7 dudes. You can't do that.
He's known for that here on the show,
it.
AD. Forgive him. But listen, okay, so David, apparently AD has the right answer.
No. I just have one answer. So I'm actually going to answer the question that you asked.
But there's so many.
Mine would be, and honestly, and you're right, David, there are so many. Because Steph Curry is not a wrong answer. Kevin Durant, one of one in NBA history, is not a wrong answer. Mine, just because of the mentality, the freedom, is James Harden. You know, you look at Kevin Durant and you say, like, we haven't seen anyone like him. This dude, James Harden, is one of the most offensively skilled players that we've ever seen touch a basketball. You think about how much that he has changed the NBA defensive schemes. There was a point in this league where teams were guarding him from behind to keep him away from doing just that, stepping back and shooting jump shots. This is a guy 2 years ago that averaged for 3 straight years, 34 points per game in 35 minutes. Again, there is no wrong answer. Kevin Durant is an offensive assassin. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. And James Harden is one of the most talented offensive players to ever grace the NBA.
No Dame
floor.
Lillard? No Dame time?
We can only give one answer.
I know he can get 50. I know he can get 50, but I wouldn't put him in that category.
I appreciate AD bringing the rule book here. Hey, and we give David a hard time because when I asked him for an Eastern Conference contender to play in the NBA Finals, he was like, well, 1 through 9, really, anyone 1 through 9 could be big.
I'm going to go with Philly. I'm going to take Milwaukee, Brooklyn. Like, okay, you just named the first 4 in the Eastern Conference.
I love y'all for so many reasons.
I'll be right at the end of the year.
That's one. David, all-time 50-piece. Who you going with?
Ooh.
Okay, I know this is going to be controversial, and I know this is an easy pick, but this is a guy that I've seen, a guy I watched coming into the league, a guy I played against, and that's Michael Jordan. I think he epitomizes a guy who can just go get it any time. You know, he had to call the dogs off and stop scoring so much because he wasn't getting anybody involved, but he could still go get it. Put a 69-piece in the playoffs. This guy could flat out get it done against anybody, anywhere, in a phone booth. He'll get 50.
That's not a wrong answer, AD. That's not a wrong.
No, it's not. It's definitely not a wrong answer. But you saw at the bottom where it said Michael Jordan had 31 career 50-point games. Will Chamberlain averaged 50 points per game for an entire season.
You're cheating by saying Will. Pick somebody else.
What can I say? What can I possibly say?
We don't even have.
Look at that. Look at the difference.
There's barely footage. There's barely footage. Are you kidding me?
Our producer had to like.
So listen, what we said, and for me, again, this comes down to mentality for me. And Michael Jordan's definitely not the wrong answer because Michael Jordan had a killer mentality. You can put Kobe Bryant in that same category. As far as the Mamba mentality meant, they are literally trying, they're going at your head at every opportunity. But I tell you this, for Wilt Chamberlain to score 100 points in a basketball game, think of what his mentality had to be at that time.
I heard our producer literally had to like cut and splice that Wilt film together. Although I love both picks, guys. I know the rule following tonight's game is win or lose. We have a post-game show coming up. AD looking forward to the call at the top of the hour with Joel and Jen as we continue on here on Pelicans Live, presented by FanDuel. Tip nearing. Stick with next. Pelicans Live on Fox Sports New Orleans was brought to you by Smoothie King. Rule the day. Osner, official healthcare provider of the New Orleans Pelicans. Ibotta, cashback made easy. SeatGeek, let there be.
Gonna be Ingram up against O'Neal. They'll get it to Brandon. Brandon with 2 on the clock for the win. You got it! 2/10 of a second to go. Coming through the press run again. Do your thing, P.I.
Wins as they tip with Utah in moments. We're counting you down to it with FanDuel here on Pelicans Live. And if you're wondering who's on the Smoothie King Center inactive list, absolutely no one. David David Wesley Pels at full strength tonight with the return of Lonzo Ball. How does that help him?
Some in their push game that helps them on defense. But again, this team has to be collectively on one page, and that's how they're going to get a win tonight. They got to play close to 48 minutes as possible, limit their turnovers, and out-rebound the Utah Jazz.
Jazz all of a sudden relying on that three ball like everyone else in the West. And David Wesley. Perimeter defense will be key here tonight. It is Pels and Jazz in the first of 2 games this week. We got our first little back-to-back series of the season, and it's next here on Fox Sports New Orleans. Enjoy. We'll see you at half.